Hello, concerned citizens. My name is Veronica. Welcome to Saving Gen Z. I created Gen Z to help awaken the world to the dangers facing our children. Disclaimer. This video is not meant to bully, harass, or incite violence of any kind. I am a qualified medical and therapeutic professional, but the statements made in this video are not meant to be substituted for your or your child's private physician or therapist care. The materials used in the making of this video is permitted under the Fair Use Act. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the videos. This helps promote the channel and educate the masses. Thank you, subscribers and supporters. Please help me support this channel by purchasing some merch or one of my best-selling books and become a Patreon. I hold monthly giveaways on Patreon and post bonus material. You can also follow me on Twitter. All links will be in the description box below. Now let's join together and build a better today so we can have a better tomorrow by questioning the narrative. Hello everyone. Welcome, concerned citizens. This is Veronica of Saving Gen Z. How are you? This is episode 6. And it is the attack on femininity and the weapons used for the masculinization of females. On episode 5, we talked about the boys. This is episode 6. We're going to talk about the girls and the propaganda being used to make femininity a no-no, a curse. And again, it's used by that 0.1% to push population control, basically. It's used to push the sexes apart, the male and the female apart, because that's what procreates, male and female. Is what procreates, okay? And to destroy the family unit. And they use certain mechanisms to do it. Diet, just like for the males, and it's the same weapons, diet methods. It's soy products, big time pushing soy products and other chemicals. Male appropriation, taking over traditional male roles, and the way they're pushing this in the schools, especially on the college campuses, is this third wave of feminism. The feminism thing. Oh God, we have to cover this. Okay, and basically making it almost like a crime to want to exhibit traditionally feminine roles and traditionally masculine roles, because they'd like to say, oh, sex doesn't matter, your chromosomes don't matter, biology plays no part, it's all a social construct. No. Because when you look at the animal kingdom, there are traditional roles played due to biology, by the males and by the female animals, without human intervention. You go out in the wild, there are roles played, okay? Basically has to do with estrogen and testosterone, the two main. There are other sex hormones, progesterone also for the females, okay, along with a whole host of other hormones, which they never cover. It's not just estrogen and testosterone. They affect behavior. So there's a lot of propaganda being pushed nowadays in order to control the population, this narrative of feminism, this type of feminism, which we're going to go over, okay? First, let's go over the diet And it's the same garbage used. It's the same garbage used to control the boys, because you have to control them from birth, right? Biology. So how do they attack the biology again? It's by introducing things that have no business being there to destroy your endocrine system, which has a whole host of problems. And you'll see that what they love to use is the where is it again? I wrote it down. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Hegelian dialectic, the Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. Okay, so they create the problem, those so-called powers that be, and the problem's created via diet, via all the chemicals. And again, we're going to cover soy, because soy is a really big deal, because soy, along with some other beans, legumes, especially chickpeas, yams are another thing that contain a lot of soy. But this is the biggest culprit. Okay. It seems today that all the buzz about what we put into our bodies is becoming the forefront of our minds. With obesity on the rise, and as unhealthy eating habits have plagued people for years, especially in Western society, America especially, it's all about eating healthy, wanting to eat healthy and losing weight, or taking whatever actions necessary to achieve an overall personal dietary goals. And it's no secret that women typically have a much harder time shedding the pounds than men. And that's actually due to estrogen. So what do? They introduce even more estrogen. Okay. One dietary change a woman might make is to get back into that itsy bitsy teeny wee bikini, blah, 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 whatever. Soy products. They might be soy products. Soy products are the number one choice for many people. Whenever you're lactose intolerant, or just trying to find a healthy alternative to whole milk, despite the controversy surrounding soy and whole milk. Aside from milk, however, there are several soy products out there that can aid in dietary needs. However, for the average everyday woman, there is a big secret. According to an article published by the Global Healing Center, 5 ways soy upsets hormone balance. It turns out that soy has been wrongfully passed off as a healthy food because it is not a food for far too long, despite the fact that foods like soy oil, tofu, even soy milk, and remember, animals are also fed these soy byproducts, as in, chicken and turkey and beef and pork, are a tremendous staple. It should be staple in the daily diet for most of those who are trying to eat healthy, especially vegetarians and vegans. Though they love that tofu, which I always found disgusting and never would eat. But I did eat the edamame. And lots of soy sauce. Oh, God. Which blows me up like a balloon, will blow you up like a balloon. Most soy products are not actually what we would consider to be real food, as it turns out. Most soy products are highly processed and genetically modified. Even when they talk about organic, it doesn't matter. It still has all the estrogen properties. According to the website, daily use of soy products for women can have a profound negative impact on our hormonal balance. It can cause premature menstruation, which is precipitous puberty in girls. Okay, that is the number one thing I want to talk about. The article states that girls are reaching their first menstruation as early at earlier ages than ever before. Many years ago, it was common for girls to have their first cycle around their 13th birthday. Yeah, between 12 and 14. That's my generation, Generation X. Now girls are experiencing their first cycle by the age of 10 or under. I had a cousin whose daughter was starting to show signs of puberty, as in breast buds, underarm hair, pubic hair, when she was 7.5 going on 8, which freaked her out, of course, and took her to the pediatrician. And of course, the way Western doctors are trained, she never bothered asking about her diet and immediately talked my cousin into giving her Lupron shots. Okay, we're going to go from this straight into Lupron, which I covered also for the boys and the effects it has on the boys with the gynecomastia. Not Lupron, I'm sorry, the soy causes the gynecomastia, hips, low testosterone. It causes their all their male hormones. It stifles their male hormone growth, stifles the growth of their male genitalia, feminizes them. Soy boys, that's the name they're called. So sorry about that. So for girls, it causes precipitous puberty, makes them get their period early, along with a whole host of other problems, because extra estrogen also feeds certain cancers, especially breast cancer, ovarian cancer. There are girls as young as, I remember one of the secretaries in the unit where I worked in the pediatric hospital, her 12-year-old daughter had ovarian cancer, and there was a 14-year-old girl on the teens unit who died from ovarian cancer at 14. These cancers were not seen in females until 30s, 40s, later on. Not young teenage girls, 12-year-old girls. Also fibroid tumors. Extra estrogen feeds fibroid tumors, promotes endometriosis, which is the growth of uterine tissue outside of the uterus, which I had to deal with. And how they solve that, instead of finding out, hey, are you taking in all this extra estrogen? Why is your estrogen level so high? Talking about the diet, they immediately want to shoot you up with this poison called Lupron, which is used to stop estrogen production, which is a chemotherapy given to men with prostate cancer. So they use it for women and for girls. And if you guys don't know, Lupron is also used to start the transformation for transgender. They love to throw that word around. Say you're tomboy, son, you're transgender. I would have been classified as transgender. For transgender kids to stop puberty completely. And here are the side effects of Lupron, which is it's just not for kids, the side effects, because it took me 12 years to recover from the side effects of Lupron, from 3 Lupron shots that were given to me when I was in my late 20s after having my son, because I wouldn't stop bleeding after having my son. 3 shots of Lupron, 12 years of recovery from the 3 shots of Lupron. Okay, drug use to halt puberty in children may cause lasting health problems. This is the story of this one woman, which she went through for years. Charissa Derricat, 30, had no idea why her body seemed to be failing. At 21, a surgeon replaced her degenerative joint. She's been diagnosed with degenerative disc disease and fibromyalgia and chronic pain condition. Her teeth are shattering enamel and cracking. None of it made sense to her until she discovered a community of women online who describe similar symptoms and have one thing in common. All had taken a drug called Lupron. I was actually part of this group too, because of course the doctors, they're like, oh, no, 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 these symptoms are, it's in your head. Never mind the fact that I found out later the doctor was getting $250 kickback per shot that he gave me. These drug companies, I'll tell you right now, especially considering the departments I worked in and the level I rose to in the allopathic hospital system. I was a director twice. Yeah, they offer you a lot of stuff, these pharmaceutical companies, a lot of stuff to push their drugs. None of it made sense to her until she discovered a community of women online who described similar symptoms and have one thing in common. They all had taken a drug called Lupron. Thousands of parents chose to inject their daughters with the drug, which was approved to shut down puberty in young girls, but also is commonly used off-label to help to help short kids grow taller. Explain that to me. I don't know. And it's used off-label again to transition children. The drug's pediatric version comes with a few warnings about long-term side effects. But trust me, my cousin, whose pediatrician was pushing the Lupron on her daughter, had no idea. She was giving this ridiculous pamphlet of all the wonderful wonders of how happy her daughter was going to be by stopping her puberty. Never mind the side effects, the bone issues, the cancer risk, and also very much so, defeminizing her daughter. The drug's pediatric version comes with few warnings, very few, about long-term side effects. It is also used in adults to fight prostate cancer. Adult males, women don't have prostates. I can't stand this BS of trying to be inclusive. I don't care. It is not, facts don't care about your feelings, okay? So if your feelings get hurt because I say women do not have prostates, it is a damn fact. Women do not have prostate. Men do not have ovaries. Men do not have uteruses. Males, biological. Okay? Now that we got that nonsense out of the way. It is also used in men to fight prostate cancer and relieve uterine pain, meaning endometriosis. And the Food and Drug Administration has warnings on the drug adult label about a variety of side effects, but they call them rare, which is a lie. More than 10,000 adverse events report filed at the FDA reflect the experiences of women who've taken Lupron. The report describes everything from brittle bones to faulty joints, and I had 10% bone loss after 3 shots of Lupron. I had to use a cane. I was on disability for almost a year. I felt my bones were breaking. The pain was unbearable, where it literally took me to suicide attempts. That's how horrible it was. Never mind my hair falling out. In interviews and in online forums, women who took the drug as young girls or initiate a daughter's treatment described harsh side effects that have been well documented in adults. Women who used Lupron a decade or more ago to delay puberty or grow taller describe the short-term side effects listed in the pediatric label: pain at the injection site, and they give it in your hip area, which, by the way, you also end up with Jesus Christ, what is it called again? Sciatic nerve damage, which I had also, sciatic nerve damage, which still gets to me once in a while. Short-term pain injection site, mood swings, suicidal. It's not just mood swings, suicidal. And headaches, horrible migraines where you lose your vision. Yet they also describe conditions that usually affect people much later in life. A 20-year-old from South Carolina was diagnosed with osteopenia, a thinning of bones, which I had also, which I managed to reverse, while a 25-year-old from Pennsylvania has osteoporosis and cracked spine. A 26-year-old in Massachusetts needed a total hip replacement. A 25-year-old in Wisconsin, like Diddercott, has chronic pain and degenerative disc disease. I have to tell you, you can recover from these things. You really can. But you have to be diligent like I was, not give up, and really focus on your nutrition. That's the only way to recover. I mean, they want to give you more shots to counteract this shot. They want to give you more meds to counteract. And never mind, infertility is another thing when they give this to you. That's another warning. Oh, very rare. No, infertility. Because when you're giving it a drug that stops your estrogen, your female hormone production completely, until the doctor deems, hey, by 12 or 13 we'll stop so they could start puberty. By then the damage is done. Your ovaries are underdeveloped. Your uterus is underdeveloped. None of that is followed up on. None of it. Okay? So never mind all those side effects to your body itself and the mental effects. Again, it is throwing you off completely. It's throwing off the child completely off of the development as a natural biological female. Okay? So that's one way they get you, right? Fill you up with the estrogen and then come up with a drug that shuts down your hormone production completely. Okay, problem, reaction, solution. And here's another method. Oh, Jesus Christ, we'll get to that insanity later. Okay, the appropriation. Well, for some reason, they feel the way women could be shown as strong and powerful is by male appropriation, masculine appropriation of masculinity. And in order to do that, first they have to completely emasculate the men. Okay? They have to take Thor, by the way, if you guys, because I use these examples because I'm a big comic book fan, sci-fi fan, so this is what I use, okay? Here's Thor. Here's Thor in his natural, beautiful, wondrous state, okay? What do they do with Thor? In order to raise up woman Thor, lady Thor, they have to completely destroy who Thor is, okay? They have to take a hunk of a man. I'm talking strong. It's it's like the ideal male physique, you want to say, and Thor being the protector and everything like that. They have to emasculate him completely, make him fat, lazy slob. That's what they have to turn him into in order to push this. Yeah, this is Natalie Portman. She actually couldn't even pick up the hammer on her own. Okay, there was a guy who actually held her hand up because she kept dropping it. And this is the look on her face because this wisp of a woman, when I saw this, I was like, dear God, they just destroyed Thor. This wisp of a woman is supposed to be Thor. Even though Thor's his name, they changed it for some reason, and she's the female Thor, lady Thor now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, anybody buying this? I'm not. Okay, you don't need to destroy him to be powerful. Okay, because guess what? You could still be her. Wonder Woman. This was my idol growing up. Wonder Woman's everything. Wonder Woman showed me how to fight off 3 8th grade boys when I was in the 6th grade who were trying to beat up my sister. The whole lasso thing. Spent all night. I watched a Wonder Woman marathon and did my whole lasso bit, and I won. Okay, this little 4th grade girl beat up 3 8th grade boys who on their bikes. Okay, and you don't have to again emasculate the man. But these third wave feminism, that's another thing. Third wave feminism is what's going on, because this is what they're putting on. This is what they're putting on men, these third wave feminists. Okay, this is what they're putting on men, disparaging men. Because according to them, you need to disparage males and man hate in order for women to rise. Why? You're just showing how weak you are by doing that. These are all the names they're putting on boys. And this is what they're doing to men, which I find deplorable, to push this somehow. Yeah, I don't know. If I saw this coming towards me to save me, I'll save myself. Thank you very much. Okay. I ain't got much to say. And this is another thing with the man hating. Tell me how this somehow empowers women. I'm going to play this. Try not to cringe. I could not watch the whole thing. I find it disgusting and deplorable. Okay?
Oh, Scouts! Ready for your song about President Trump?
They need to arrest.
Repeat that thing. You go with that pig. Show no respect. Turn down my pussy. You're gonna get wrecked. Planned Parenthood, health care, and a dinner or fuck me a fucked up hair. Listen, ladies, you gotta treat her like shit. Choose rapist, sex, assault, culprit. And take away a woman's abortion right. Let's push war and take it down her block. Let's just lay it on down the hut. The women's march up, women's mouth can't be shut. Super callous, monster, racist, sexist, not my opponent. Scale, shit, racist, Muslim, band, Nazi, and the fuck is the plan? What's up in immigrants that you hate and berate? Immigrants ignorant, don't make America great. Let's teach out starts backwards, slide, more visible bitches, and we drop the mic.
PussyScouts.com. The pussy hat emerged in the Women's March as a powerful symbol of the fight for equality. Get your hat or get involved with the cause and get a shirt. Girls just want to have fun and mental rights. This is what a feminist looks like. PussyScouts.com.
And does everyone notice how it has 856 thumbs down and 29 thumbs up? Okay. You know I love you, and that is why I had to watch, because I could not watch more than a few seconds of that video. But I found it really, really important to show. Okay. And this is the new feminist movement. Okay. And it's all about, this is the third wave feminism. That's all the rage now. Okay. It's all about the patriarchy. And all it's doing is making women victim. It's who has the biggest victim card. Okay. It's all about victimhood, victim mentality. Isn't that weakness? Because first wave of feminism is about suffrage. Okay. Fighting for legal rights. The right to vote. The right for simple liberties. Okay. The second wave, it was about focus on reproductive rights, sexuality, wage gap, which quite frankly barely exists now. It's so fake. Securing career opportunities for women. Now you got this third nonsensical crap, which these ridiculous people, as you could see with their pussy hats, coming up with these lies, these BS. Oh my God, these so-called stats, which are totally false. Okay, to fight for equality by focus on exclusively on female victims of gender neutral issues. Victims, it's all on victim mentality. Okay, middle and upper class women reject labeling by adopting labels and identities. Everything is the patriarchy's fault. Also rape culture. Yes, there's this a rape culture, even though rape is actually down. And none of these people are going, not for nothing. None of these third wavers. Why don't you go to the Middle East and help women out there, okay? And stop the nonsense, okay? And they also have these third wave feminists. Again, it's all about population control. It's all about population control. How does this make you powerful? This is from the Slut March. My mom's a slut. This is a little boy she has holding up the sign of how my mom's a slut. How does that make someone powerful? How does that make this child respect women? Ask yourself that. So and this is how they're making little boys feel. This is how they're labeling boys to control them. Also, yeah, this is what they're trying to sell. They're trying to, there are no real stats. There's nothing they say holds water, so they have to make things up, okay? And they have to get explicit about it and shocking. That's why they have little girls giving the middle finger and saying horrible words, okay? Women can't win. Again, victim mentality, exploring the gender wage gap, victim mentality. You are a victim, and the only way to overcome being a victim, Jesus Christ, we'll cover this craziness later, is by emasculating men. I'm sure many of you heard of this. This is not a brand new story, but I'll play you this insanity here.
I have to go to, in the United Kingdom, someone won an award just recently for a chair, well, two chairs actually, two chairs that have been built by a young artist in relation to curbing.
Is it to do with men generally being quite pig ignorant when they come to sitting on public transport? Is it to do with women not feeling like they can turn around and tell a man to stop being so pig ignorant?
I think there's a myriad of problems around it, and I think, sometimes it's not even a conscious thing. I don't think these, man spreaders is like something that's always like super negative or like assertive, but I think occasionally, it is a microaggression. And I've heard stories from women where it turns into something that's actually far more aggressive.
Let's have a go on this. Sorry, I actually found my legs spreading further.
Yeah, well, you won't be spreading there, trust me. We're swapping, are we?
Yeah, let's have a go. Oh dear. Sorry, my voice nearly raised by about an octave there.
Exactly.
It's quite cosy.
It's quite tough.
Liar. It is not cozy. That's why he said his voice raised an octave. Yeah, manspreading, this nonsensical crap. And again, emasculating men. So you saw the two chairs she made there. One was for manspreading, to close the man's legs, to emasculate them. The reason why men sit with their legs wider spread than women is because biological women don't have testicles and penises hanging down. Biological men do. So they do sit that way. That is why men sit that way. And women do not, and she has the man-spreading chair with a big chunk of wood in the middle so women could spread their legs because that's somehow more comfortable for women to sit. I don't know. Take a survey. Biological women, do you enjoy sitting with your legs spread wide open? Okay, and here's another weapon that they use. When they're using this third wave agenda, this third wave of feminist agenda, is to put down motherhood. Okay, and this is why women are failing. Apparently, the gender pay gap is largely because of motherhood. So the attack on motherhood. This article is written in the New York Times. Okay. When men and women finish school and start working, they're paid pretty much equally, but a gender pay gap soon appears. Ooh. And grows significantly over the next 2 decades. So what changes? The answer can be found by looking at when the pay gap widens most sharply. It's the late 20s and mid 30s, according to 2 new studies. Where are these studies coming from? They never mention. You notice that? It's always some expert. In other words, when many women have children, there you go. Unmarried women without children continue to earn closer to what men earn. So what's the solution? Problem, reaction, solution. What's the solution to this? Oh, they're going to show you. The big reason that having children and even marrying in the first place hurts women's pay relative to men's is that the division of labor at home is still unequal even when both spouses work full-time. That's especially true for college-educated women in high-earning occupations. Children are particularly damaging to their careers. So, yeah, so bad for women. Even marriage, ooh, terrible, right? And they're going to give you some more. Oh, we'll get to this. These SJWs. Here, Mary Claire magazine, SJW Central. I used to subscribe to this magazine until I started noticing this attack on femininity, this real attack. So this is inside the growing movement of women who wish they'd never had kids. So we have this whiny 37-year-old talking about how she wished she never had children. And again, she's a mother because, the regret hit me when the grandmas went home and my husband went back to the office and I was on my own with him. This is how she's talking about her child, her male child. I realized this was my life now and it was unbearable. I hated the situation I found myself in. I think the word for what I felt was trapped. Okay. And this goes on to talk about all these books that came out to talk about how horrible it is to be a mother. Written by these psychologists and therapists and doctors and feminists. This one is 40 good reasons not to have children. No kids. Same in the book. Hashtag regretting motherhood. That's the hashtag that they tried to make on. And get a load this one with a picture with a gun to her head. Regretting motherhood. Okay. So this is the norm that they're trying to push. This is the narrative. Okay. They're trying to push. This is the narrative they're trying to push. Regretting motherhood. And of course, never mind books. They have social media clubs talking about regretting motherhood. Look at this. I had to grit my teeth and live with the results at first. And now it's just my reality. This is my new normal. Ugh. And this is the third wave of feminism. And also feminists absolutely despise Wonder Woman. Despise Wonder Woman. Why do they despise her? Because she still is so feminine. I love me some Wonder Woman. She's so feminine. unapologetically feminine. This scene, I remember this scene. She was walking through the streets of London, and this is the first time she's off of the island. And remember, on the island, she was the only baby ever, so she's never seen a real baby, a human baby before. And this woman has this child crying. She's like, "Oh, baby!" That's actually my reaction every time I see a baby, and it makes the feminists cringe. And the fact that there was one article I was reading saying how that he basically raped Wonder Woman because she did not know what being around a man was like. So he basically raped her and tricked her into having sex with him. She seemed to be pretty into it to me. Ain't bad piece either. Yeah. So that's what these things want you to think. Okay? We went over soy. Oh, Wonder Woman. Oh, we're going to go over that later. Yeah, and another thing they're doing to boys, to kids, there was an article that I saw and I lost it, unfortunately, sorry, about the 6-year-old boy who was he 5 or 6? He was in kindergarten, and he was suspended from school for hugging a classmate. So that's the new thing, to, again, separate the girls and boys. Start it from early, right? Make it a crime. This story really, really touched my heart. It really touched my heart hard because I have a son and he's painfully shy. He's really working hard at it to come out of it. Never had a girlfriend yet, around the same age. Excuse me, never had a girlfriend around the same age. Very awkward, socially awkward, shy, quiet. He's an artist. And I got teary reading this story, what happened to this boy. Shy and awkward student 19 who Googled how to make a friend, then touch a schoolgirl 17 on her arm and waist while trying to chat to her, faces jail. He was actually convicted after sexual assault conviction. So they actually gave him, I think they gave him this long probation. They charged him $250. They put him on the sex offender list because of this insanity. This girl was fed this garbage of this SJW nonsense. She told the court, this is the insanity what the girl told. I honestly thought this case would have been thrown out. She told the court his contact had hindered her application to Oxford University. Durham University undergraduate was convicted of 2 charges of sexual assault for touching her arm and then touching her waist. Not for nothing. I'm Gen X. Going to the clubs in New York, talking. You always know a guy's into you when he touches your waist, or even when he's trying to pass, but touches your waist. Now it's called sexual assault, and this girl all of a sudden has all these things that she sounds like a personal problem. Has nothing to do with this poor 19-year-old kid. Poor, shy, awkward kid who thought he was just trying to chat to a girl and make a friend, and now he is on a sex offenders list. She burst into tears during the second encounter when the police went to her mother, claiming Griffith would have touched her breast had she not moved away. No. Why do I doubt it? She claimed her schoolwork suffered as a result of the contact, leaving her unable to able to sit her mock exams and apply for Oxford. I say she fell short of Oxford and found a scapegoat in this poor child, in this poor boy. That sounds more reasonable to me. This is so sad. He was convicted and sentenced later. and will be sentenced later this month. Like I said, he was sentenced 10 years in jail. That's what this poor 19-year-old boy was facing. And this is purposefully done. And he's a cute kid too, right? Like, my son is gorgeous. He's 6'3.5", 205 pounds, naturally muscular, but he's still awkward and shy. Imagine that. And, you know, the conviction, yet they have women walking around. Where is it? Did I cut it off? Holding up signs, having their sons hold up signs saying, I'm a slut, right? No slut shaming. But a 19-year-old boy goes up to a 17-year-old girl, try to talk and touch her arms, and he's convicted as a sex offender. You have a 6-year-old little boy hugging a girl, and he is suspended, and they went to try to charge him as a sex offender, a 6-year-old little boy in kindergarten. Okay? So this is what it's come down to. And again, they attacking from every end these monsters who are, you know, who are trying to rule society, who are trying to push the different crazy agendas to try to separate us, to keep us from marrying and having children, having traditional families. Not that I'm saying anything's wrong with untraditional families. Like I say, I have 2 male gay friends who are married. Well, one is single, the other one's married. Actually, I know 3. I haven't seen the other one in a while. He was a male nurse, gay male nurse, adopted a girl and a boy, Haitian girl and a boy after the earthquake when we went to Haiti. He adopted 2 kids. Amazing dad, amazing freaking father. All 3 of those men are amazing. So it's not to say that, but, you know, Jack cannot procreate with Bob. It's about population control. So scare them out of talking to each other, right? Arrest 6-year-olds for hugging. Make boys believe that they're this. Push this agenda. Emasculate them. And then push masculinity on the females. This is from the Terminator, okay? This is Sarah Connor, who was another one who I still love. You know, she was just that strong mom who would do anything to protect her kid, but still had that vulnerability, you know? You sensed everything she was doing was for the love of her son, right? This was Sarah Connor back in the day. This is her boy. What did they do? Because they're trying to push this sickening agenda down with the patriarchy. The very first thing that the movie just came out, this new Terminator nonsense. Okay? What did they do? They make him, instead of protecting him, shoot him, kill him. Kill the hero of the film within the first 2 minutes of the film, point blank. Kill him. So in him being killed, she doesn't become the strong, amazing, feminine heroine of the film. They turn her to this thing. Bitter, alcoholic, very much a version of that. And another thing they're trying to push big time is these androgynous, you know, if you want to be androgynous, that's your thing, whatever, I don't care. But this is part of an agenda saying, you know, oh, you don't have to be with men because you could have, you know, a woman could just be strong and fill the shoes of a man. No. I say no. How about that? I say no. This will never substitute for this. No. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But again, this is an attack on heterosexuality. It really is a flat out attack on heterosexuality. Down with the patriarchy. That's their whole thing. You saw that god awful rap for those children. Had nothing to do with Donald Trump. That rap did not have anything to do with Donald Trump. Okay? Has to do with this. Women seeing men as this from the get-go. Why not push this? No one is able to make a female a queen except her father. That's an Arab proverb. The father-daughter connection and relationship is extremely important. It's extremely important. I did not grow up with a dad. Last time I saw my father, I was 4, and then the next time I saw him was in a coffin. And that's because my mother was an extremely bitter woman. Okay, when my dad got remarried, she said, if you don't want me, you can't have my kids. He tried for many years to try to see us, then he gave up. And I grew up thinking that my dad just didn't want me until my dad's funeral, when I went to Haiti and I met my half siblings from his first marriage. And I was staying in one of my brother's homes, my half brother, and there was a picture of me, and there was a few pictures of me. My first communion, my 6th grade picture. I'm like, how did you guys end up with that? Then I met my half sister, who's much, much older than me. Okay? And I was like, how did you guys end up with my pictures? And then I met my half sister and I said, wait a minute, aren't you my mom's friend? She goes, no, I'm your sister. The only way I was able to see you was to lie and tell you that I was your mom's friend from work. And when I came, I used to take your pictures to bring to your father. Okay? When I found that out, that changed my attitude towards men. Because up until that point, I had a hatred towards men. And then it was like in that interim, I was getting pregnant with my son, but I was also getting separated from my husband at the same time. And I was so angry when I found out I was pregnant with a boy. So angry. But then when he was born, and then I found out about my dad, the truth about my father, and it totally changed my life. Even though I wasn't raised with my dad, I found out why I wasn't, the truth of it all. And that changed my heart towards everything. And then giving birth to a son on top of that completely changed me around. I easily would have been one of these things. Angry, man-hating, buying into the whole agenda, So they took an icon, a freaking icon, and they turned her into this. Okay? And in this movie, this last Terminator movie that just came out, God, let it be the last. They kill all the men. And they take Arnold here, this Terminator, they take him and they make him into a soy boy. He's supposed to be a robot, but they made him into a soy boy. Totally castrated him. He's married to a human, his stepfather, but doesn't have sex with a woman. I mean, you would not believe that. I don't even want to go into it. It breaks my heart, okay? Irritates me even more. Okay. So we went through all this. Now this is something I just want to cover because it came up. Just to show you how wretched this agenda is. It is satanic. It really is. Drag queen simulates abortion, stabs pregnant belly with knife, dismembers fetus and drinks blood in New York bar. Yeah. I don't want to play the video because it is disgusting. I couldn't even watch the whole thing. This really happens. And they're trying to pass it off as, you know, as, oh, it was just a zombie thing, you know. Oh, it has to do, they're trying to say that, oh, Christians are upset at this. I don't know what this has to do with Christianity or not being Christian. It's appalling and disgusting. And it goes to show the disrespect it has for pregnancy, for women. You know, it was, what was it, the Drudge Report? Vice and Drudge were talking about how, oh, it's the, you know, how is this a conservative or liberal thing? I don't consider myself either. I can't stand politics or religion. How does this fall into that? I don't know. But again, it's part of the agenda, trying to say this is okay, to simulate child sacrifice and abortion and drinking blood, stabbing yourself in the belly, and people in the audience clapping and cheering. There was one African American woman, they don't show this picture. There was one African American woman sitting next to this person and was like disgusted and shocked and walked away. But yeah, this is what's deemed okay and appropriate. That's fine. But how about this agenda? Promoting this. Promoting loving our sons, loving our fathers. Promoting this relationship. Promoting true, strong, feminine women. True femininity. And what the real feminist movement's about, instead of this made up nonsense based on victim mentality, victimhood. Alrighty. Oh, it's like I literally was ripping the hair out of my head while talking to you guys, seeing those videos. All right, everyone. I know that was intense to see. Those videos were intense to see. But sometimes shock is needed to see what's really going on. So please share, because there are so many people still asleep to this. We have to save our children and our grandchildren. Like I said, I have a generation Y, a millennium. I have a generation Zer, my son, and then I have my granddaughter, who's 2. So we're doing this for all our kids and our grandkids. And even if you don't, if you just want to save the future, okay, we need to address what's going on now in order to have a better future. We can't without it. And the truth must come out on how we're under attack. We are under attack by those so-called who are in control. Okay? And this is not a conspiracy. It's right in your face. You can't deny it. All right. Veronica out. We do have the victory. Okay, everyone? May look bleak, but the more people know, the stronger we are. We have to get together. The stronger we are. There's more of us. Okay? Lady V out. Veronica out. Bye.